city is the theme for this year's festival, and do cities have distinctive sounds that are common for residents and tourists? And I would say, yes, there is definitely, a sound that cities have. In our city, New York City, where we're based, I live very close to a place called Central Park. And what's interesting is that I like to walk there sometimes. It's about 25 minutes away. There's a part in the park called the Ramble, which is very nature-like, and actually you can't see any buildings from there, and sometimes you can't even hear any other people. It's weird in a city of 8 million people to be in a place that is basically like being in nature. And that's kind of an interesting thing about New York City, but I think many, many cities have these sorts of green spaces, natural spaces that are important for residents and tourists to visit in the infrastructure of a giant metropolis.
What's interesting in Central Park is that you may not hear other voices, but you can hear this hum, right? Like New York has a hum, I think all big cities have, and that's part of the energy you feel of cities.
I think, noise pollution is hard to separate from a city. In fact, I'll just tell you that after living in New York City for about 20 some years, I've recently moved away, and I live north of the city about 2 hours in a very quiet place. And what's funny is that New York, with all the noise pollution, is a place where I slept very comfortably because I was so used to garbage trucks and sirens and all sorts of things going on outside my window. And now I don't sleep as well because both the occasional silence and the sounds of the crickets, I find that noise deafening, and it does not allow me to sleep very long.
Well, we always view a program as a chance to take an audience on a journey, and today's is through the city of New York, through the music we've chosen. Of course, that would be impossible in one concert to give the whole scope of any city, but we thought that these pieces that we've put together represent some of that energy, that hum, the hustle and bustle of New York, as represented from composers as far back as Dvořák, who would go to Penn Station, and he loved trains and watch the trains departing, to Philip Glass, who lives on the Lower East Side, and we got to play his piece in his living room for him. And his music always has this really kinetic, constant motion to it. So I think we're trying to give some overview of 100 years of music in one evening. So we hope people enjoy it.
The characteristic sounds of New York City, I agree with Colin, are too many to sort of name, and they're very diverse in a way. Actually, one of the very characteristic sounds everybody will hear in this concert is not being made by us, but it's being made by the train that rolls underground here, and you feel this sort of hum in this space. So that'll be a part of the music that we're making, I suppose.
Which we love. It's just like Carnegie Hall also has the subway right below.
Yeah, very, very much so. And to me, like this, New York, like many cities, probably also like Milano, is a city where the world comes together. And so in New York, and the New York sound is such a patchwork of so many things, so many traditions, so many people coming together, calling this place home. And then what you get are so many versions of hybrids and sort of new ideas. And I feel like New York is always on on that side of things, like the fashion industry here, you know, it's always on the front of whatever that's going to be, and I think you can hear that represented in the music.